Okay, beautiful souls. I am so excited to dig in today. We've got Madelyn Moon in the house. This has been a conversation that I have so been looking forward to digging into. And you're gonna fall in love with her just instantaneously because her content is amazing. Who she is amazing. I'm very excited to just share her in this space. So, a little bit about her. She's a leading voice in the world of feminine and masculine relationships, devoted to serving women in liberating their expression, their artistic hearts with themselves, their partners, and the world. She is the host of the Top 100 podcast, The Madelyn Moon Show, and author of best-selling book on conscious intimacy called The Artist of Love. She teaches live programs, workshops, and courses year-round and has been featured in ABC News, Vogue, People, just to name a few. So, Madelyn, thank you so much for being in the space. I cannot wait to dig in with you today.
Aw, thanks so much for having me. It's a treat. I was gonna say treasure. It's a treat and a
It's a
treasure.
treasure and a treat.
Yeah.
I love it. Amazing. Well, one of my favorite things about you is just how expressed you are. Like,
Mm.
not only I would say, like, probably in your personal life, but I've witnessed you online and how you just let yourself be your freest expression of self. And so I'm curious, have you always been like that? Like, have you always been like just letting yourself be your most authentic self and letting your weird out and all this stuff? Like, has that always been who you've been, or has that been like a journey for you?
I love this question. It's actually a question people always ask me. Have you always been this way?
Yeah.
And I think my answer differs depending on how I'm seeing myself
Ooh,
today. I'm
love
like,
it.
definitely no. Definitely no. I mean, expression, when I say expression, I'm talking just about the truth moving through me. The
Mm,
truth moving through your body, that's a path. That's a path to really uncover and discover and shed what's not the truth for you. And I think we develop a lot of behaviors and a lot of patterns as we grow up. We orient
yeah.
around who we think we are,
Hmm.
and then that colors or clouds our expression, who we think we are. If we think we're the smart one or the pretty
Mm,
one or the, quirky one, we really start to perceive and shape our world around that. And then all of a sudden, life becomes really narrow. It's just
mm,
that one specific place. And for me, I was actually really quite goofy and silly when I was little. I was
mhm.
super silly and I was, always rolling upside down on chairs and making up languages and
Yeah.
yeah, not acting like my peers were acting. And then as I got a little older, I became very serious.
Mm,
And the seriousness was a mechanism to deal with some personal things happening in my life. And I felt like if I just tightened everything in, I have
mm,
control. And that led to probably a 15-year period of control, control, control in every way, just sucking the levity right out of me.
mm,
And regaining that levity, that and beyond of what's possible was a practice, definitely. And what's interesting is I got to a place of being very playful and have a lot of range offline,
mm,
but I had a lot of stickiness around bringing it online in my 20s. And there was a specific shift that I experienced 1 month where I
mm,
was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to bring how I am personally here to my platform. And I kid you not, once I did that, my business started to explode. I'd already been working on it for years and years and years and years, but it was the day I started to play light and to
mm,
show my quirkiness that my business started to expand because people, it's not that they just were watching me and were like, "Oh, I like her." They were like, "Oh, that's me. I'm
mm.
that." And what a breath of fresh air it is to see your weird ass self, your unhinged self brought to social media because we all resonate, we all relate, and especially in the spiritual world, we need a lot of that to counteract and counterbalance some of the tightness that is created in that platform.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I love this. I'm curious, what did you do? Was there something that you did apart from just a mental shift that you were like, I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna just be weird today, like online. Like was there like an embodiment exercise? Was there stuff that led up to
Oh,
feeling like
definitely no embodiment.
okay.
No, no.
I love it.
Later on, I found different threads and then I created that. So that's
Creative.
what my work has been because there is no, especially in the feminine embodiment world, this is not a thing. It's like it's a, maybe you try on different archetypes, but really feeling the energy come from your center out is
Yeah.
different than like trying on something. This comes from within.
Yeah.
And for me, it was actually when Reels came out.
Mm.
When Reels came out, it was a whole new world because, yeah, we could go live or we could write posts and do carousels, but Reels brought in a different frequency and they were short, right? On Instagram, it was 30 seconds. And sometimes I feel a little silly talking about like Reels are what brought it forth, but that's a vehicle, it's a
Yes.
vehicle for a new energetic. And
Uh-huh.
that was a new energetic introduced. And I, at the time, was showing or teaching a lot about something I created called Creativity in Love, which
Mm.
is a modality that one can use to create art out of triggers in relationships. So instead of having a triggered response, here's how you alchemize.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is a great way for me to be able to actually show through me acting what
Yeah.
that looks like. So I made this video that was like, take one. And it was a couple that was having a conversation and it was triggered. And then I showed take two, and it was the creative version of how to work through the same situation. I did not mean for it to be funny.
Yeah.
I thought I was just teaching, and
Okay. Nice.
everybody was like, oh, so funny, dying laughing. Oh my God. People
Yeah.
were texting me. They were like, I
Uh-huh.
didn't know you had a gift for that.
Hmm.
And I then was like, wait, this is comedy? Like, I didn't even know. I was actually
Nice.
just teaching.
Yeah.
I started to lean in a little bit more. And so it was a process of self-discovering, and I actually learned a lot about it through the eyes of others. And this is
Mm.
why I teach a lot of sacred theater, because we learn about ourselves and our expression through the eyes of others, through the process of being witnessed.
Cool.
So Instagram is great for that, but also, of course, like live experiences when you actually get to enact and to embody and be witnessed in it is where some of the deepest expansion of what's possible for you happens.
Oh my gosh. I love this so much. There's so much that I resonate with as someone who's like super weird behind the scenes and then just like doesn't show that online. But if you know me, you know that I'm like weird and I do weird shit all the time and I'm always pranking my husband, but I'm not putting it online. And so I'm wondering, what do you find holds women back the most from fully expressing themselves and things of that
Mhm.
nature? Like what have you noticed as like a common thread from the women that come to your practice or that you coach? Like what do you think kind of comes through?
Self-referencing,
Tell me more.
focusing on self.
Mm,
So when you're in expression, you're just energy, you're just consciousness revealing itself.
yeah.
But the minute you're aware that you are an individual and it's you who's doing that, it's like the energy moves out to be shown, revealed, and then all of your awareness of you brings it right back in.
Uh-huh.
And so this can be a collapse. This can
Mm-hmm.
be a dam that you kind of put on the flow of truth. But
Mm,
it's our obsession with how we look, with how we sound, with making sense, with what people think, with judgment, judgment of others, judgment of ourselves. So it's the experience of self-referencing, referencing yourself and how you may look that stops. And it's always interesting when I do events and women come in and they're so shiny, they're so expressive, they're so funny, they're so like, oh my God, like they're so exquisite. And then sometimes after an event, I'll go and I'll look at their Instagram and I'll look at their platform, and it's nowhere to be found as the woman we just experienced. So it's
uh-huh.
always like an interesting case study in why is that? Why are women so sparkly and magnetic and
Mm,
vicious and feral and fierce and all the whole range, except they choose one specific vein of how they're going to kind of create a persona on Instagram and stick to it. Your range, it's not only about your range leading to more clients, more possibilities, opportunities, people following you.
mhm.
That's all great, but also your range when you show it, especially on a platform so big like that, it it anchors in more of
Mm,
you. It
yeah.
anchors it in because of the witnesses. So we
Yeah.
can use that platform as a tool to build a nervous system that is capable of being seen in range.
Mm.
And the world, I mean, the possibilities after that, when you get to that place, are endless.
Yes.
Endless.
Yeah. What does that look like for someone who wants to kind of like root that in and like what is that? Is there a practice that you kind of walk women through to feel like, okay, my nervous system is calm around this. I can be fully expressed in this space. Like, tell me more about that and kind of if there's an actual practice or if there are questions that you ask a woman that's like, I would love to do that, but like, what does that look like?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I use a lot of acting modalities that kind of open the channel and open the
Cool.
body. I use a lot of act out, so I'll actually have people act out things. So let's say somebody comes into a space and they are quite masculine in their energetic body.
Mm.
Like they want the practice. They want to know what to do, how to do it.
Yeah.
Their energy is it's very like, going down. The
Uh-huh.
brows might be a little bit furrowed. Like I really take in the body and I see how is the body orienting around their identity because you can always see it. You can
Yeah.
always see
Yeah.
someone's identity based off of their body, how
Yeah.
they are existing inside of their body. So I'll
Yes.
take all that in and then I'll normally get some kind of creative prompt that will come up.
Yeah.
Sharing this because people can do this with themselves. It's not quite the same without witnesses, just isn't, but you can still practice and witness yourself if you would like. You can record and watch yourself. But I'll give them some kind of totally outlandish prompt. So maybe one that I've done a few times is yeah, taking someone who has that kind of energetic and put them in experience of deep heartbreak, like messy heartbreak. Or
Yeah.
maybe I'll give them a prompt to do a crawl of unrequited love.
Mm.
Show me what it looks like when you are in so much grief of unrequited love that you're crawling. Like I'll
Uh,
go above and beyond into an
yeah.
experience and then give them the floor to enact that. And what that does is it's uncomfortable, first of all. That's not what how they're orienting towards life.
Uh-huh.
And also by having a situation or a circumstance that somebody can put themselves in that's not them, it helps them discover more about themselves. This is why
Mm.
acting is so epic because you'll never really know what it's like to be an addict if you're not actually, like as Madeline, I'm not an addict. And I don't know what it's like to have that level of itch and craving and feel a little bit out of control and that level of messy.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was to, for an evening, play a part, I'm no longer Madeline. So there's more permission to go there because it's not
Mm.
about me anymore. The ego loves to protect who we are. And so if it's
Yeah.
just Madeline being in that, I'm gonna do it the Madeline way. But what if I do it the Crystal way? So
Yeah.
Crystal, who's the addict, and like experience Crystal, then there's an integration that can begin to happen. So this work is, it's not just improv, it's like deep shadow work. And
Yes.
it's consciousness expression, expansion work, where we get to
Yes.
discover more in that way. So it's very experiential. And if someone's more like, how do I start to do this online and integrate this online? The first piece is to begin being open to ideas.
Mm.
People feel very stuck because they don't know what to do, but that's because they haven't been listening.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, when you merely start to say, yeah, I want this, I want to start showing up more expressive and have more range and maybe bring in a little bit of comedy or a little bit of my silly self, but how? Just merely claiming that begins to open a channel
Mm.
muse to enter. And then the muse will start to whisper in your ear, do that funny thing that you always do when you get chicken nuggets. And then show the world. Or like
Yes.
maybe something, an experience will happen in your life and you're like, oh my God, this is comedy gold.
Yes.
My whole life is full of comedy gold in the realm of relationship because that's how I'm seeing it. I've
Uh-huh.
chosen to see the comedic angle.
Yes.
And so that's the angle that I'm given. And so once we start to choose that we want to receive those angles, we'll start to see it everywhere. And then the
Mhm.
mix will take over. And it's not about again what to do, but it's more so about like following the thread of what's already moving.
Yes. Oh, just body chills. This is so good. And I love your perspective. It's so different. It's just got my wheels turning over here in so many different ways. I love it. I
Hmm.
want to come to one of your workshops. Like, tell us
Yeah,
what those
come.
workshops look like. Like, what is for the woman that's stepping in? Like, tell us a little bit more about what that's
Mhm.
like.
Yeah, so my main signature event that I'm now about to do the fourth one this September, and you're more than welcome to come. It's called
Fun.
Unbound.
Uh-huh.
And it's a 3-day intensive. It's not a retreat. It's intense. It's like expression boot camp. I would never call
Nice.
it that because that sounds
Uh-huh.
way too masculine, but we cover from every angle all the ways we can stretch and prime and exhaust the body
Uh-huh.
so that the body gets into a state of receptivity to what's actually wanting to move through. So we
Yeah.
do catharsis, we do sacred improv, sacred
Mm.
theater, enactment, shape shifting. There is
Wow.
a lot of shape shifting in my work. So you can create a reference point that weekend of what it feels like to move in all these different energetics rather than being in the one you're in. What does it feel like to go here, 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 here? And then you build capacity for
Mm.
all that's available. And then you can go, into the world and be able to shift perspectives and your body begins to shape shift with that perspective.
Ooh.
It's trippy work and it's really exquisite.
So what exactly is shape-shifting? Is this where you give someone like the thing to act out, or how would you define shape-shifting?
Yeah, well, shapeshifting is a traditionally a shamanic practice, and I always want to honor where the real definition of shapeshifting, the real use of shapeshifting, and
Mm.
it's an important community practice because the shamans would shape shift in specific cultures to know what the fox knows, to know what the bear knows. And
Ah,
so they would go into trance states where they would pull muscle fascia, break bones, actually change their shape so that they understood what the animals understood or what consciousness understood. They would
yes.
take the shape of that, they would enact that. And
Yes.
so that's what we do when we are going through a trauma experience or our bones are breaking, something is starting to repattern. That's what happens when we act. We go through a new transmission. You see this all the time with Meryl Streep. She's a great example is
Yeah.
she is a classic actor, shape shifter. I mean,
Yes.
she knows how to move her body around the energy that she is embracing. Her
Hmm.
body changes. And
Yeah.
we have the capability to do that as well. And so I'll do it in some kind of lighter, fun ways. I have specific practices that I lead people through, and then we'll also do it in more subtle and energetic ways.
Yeah.
And there's alchemical teachings that I do as well in the shape shifting process, like literally moving people from one state to another state and feeling their body orient around that.
Cool.
I'm about to lead a whole facilitator training specifically about this as a facilitator and like the power
Mm.
of shapeshifting and learning
Yeah.
how to move with that with your clients and but primarily starting with your own body.
Yes. Wow. I love that for you. And I love that for the people that are going to lean into that. That feels really
Mhm.
important and powerful.
Mhm.
I found the more that I've leaned into all of the work that I do, the body, somatics, like I kept being drawn back to that. I started with the mind, and then of course, actually, I started with the spirit, and then it was the mind, and then at some point, I was like, oh yeah, what's this thing that I'm living in? You're like, wait, I'm forgetting about like a big part of it, and so it's so true. There's so much alchemy that can happen when we start to really root down into what is my body trying to teach me, which
Mhm.
is powerful. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, and it's often a lot simpler than we make it.
yeah,
It doesn't have meaning. There
yeah.
are no signs.
Hmm.
It's not science, it's not meaning, it's just what it is. It's just energy. It's oftentimes a lot simpler than we make it. And
So
then,
true.
yeah, we fight that. And we like really try to fight that of the simplicity of where energy is taking us. With all the questions and the judgment, and the self-doubt and the what if, and then I'm gonna lose everything. No, you're not. Like as long as you're following energy, you're going to only be gaining.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I love that. What do you do? Let's say, like, so a woman starts embodying this, she starts expressing herself online, she's feeling like liberated and kind of just leaning into her energy. What would you advise her to do if all of a sudden there was like all these haters that came out that were like, you suck, I hate you? Like, what's something that you would advise her to do to move through that experience of maybe how they're feeling in reference to other people's reflections?
Hmm. Well, number one, you delete the comments and then you block them.
Nice. Love it.
Yep.
Tactical. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No time for that. No
Mm-hmm.
time to get hooked by
Uh-huh.
other people's shit.
Uh-huh.
I'm a huge advocate of that.
Me too.
There's a lot of, I mean, I've had so many experiences in my life, like really weird ones, like people stalking where I'm living and uploading it online, and people having communications where they take screenshots of where I'm, that my house and the background to find out where it's just, and doing this because they don't like me. But it's kind of weird because it sounds like something you do if you're obsessed with somebody, but it's like they're
Uh-huh.
angry about it and tracking me, and it's just strange.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would notice how I would get caught up in that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I can track the day that I got on and I read all this stuff and what my energy felt like. My energy
Of
felt
course.
terrible. So that's number one. It's information. It's
Mm-hmm.
learning what happens with your system when you're engaging, even just witnessing, viewing, getting caught in the drama,
Uh-huh.
and then turning away, you know, turning away, looking the other direction, not partaking in it. Now this is a little different from, you know, doing unethical business tactics. Like if
Right.
that's happening in your life, look at that, you know, get
Mhm.
some other perspectives and opinions and handle what's going on with clarity, you know, without defensiveness, just get really clear. And that doesn't mean no matter what is going on, that doesn't mean that we bludgeon ourselves and we spiral in self-pity and doubt. And I think that's an energetic that a lot of people are wanting. You know, I remember when it was Burning Man a couple years ago, I wrote this celebration post about my first Burning Man, and it was the year that we had the mud and the
Mm.
rain. And whoa, I mean, it's just so funny to me how people are just so hungry for doom and gloom.
Mm.
Like I posted this whole celebration thing, and then hundreds of people were commenting, "How dare you celebrate? There's mud there. How dare you? Somebody
Nice.
died. How dare you be happy?" Like, but all this stuff. And you know what I did with that? And this is gonna be the main answer to your question.
Yeah.
I made art. That's
Yeah.
what you do. I made a whole video, and that video killed it. I
Mm-hmm.
took that and I did a whole video where I played out what happened. Oh my God, I just came back from Burning Man. And then I just like showed a character that was like, "Where's the mud?"
Yeah.
And like, and I
Yeah.
showed what happened. And then I got, you know, thousands of likes and like people were laughing. And then I totally took that experience and
Mm.
flipped it on its head and alchemized it into comedy, into levity. I
Mm.
could have gotten mad. I could have gotten pissy. I could have been like, nobody understands me. And I could have swirled around that experience or take the experience, make something epic with it, share it with
Mm.
the world.
Yeah.
Energy's gone. Like all of that no longer had power over me because it
Yeah.
did have power. I was like, because I was, you know, getting defensive. And
Yep.
that wasn't helping me. It wasn't proving my point. It was keeping me feeling like in my head. And so making something through it maybe be like, so glad that happened because now I
Yeah.
created something. And
Yeah.
this is a lot of, you know, what I really want people to understand is you become unfuckwithable when
Yes.
you learn how to do this, how to be in relationship to criticism rather than be constantly afraid of it. You're in relationship with it through art.
Yes. Wow. I love that perspective. And, one of the things I remember channeling, because I had a post go viral on TikTok, and this was like 2 weeks postpartum. I'm like sleep deprived. It was like a post where you kind of like a throwaway post. I was like, I'm just gonna like just put this up because it's helpful. And it's like had hundreds and thousands of views, and all these comments were like, you suck, you're a bad mom, like, fuck you. And I remember being like, oh, like I remember it stinging so much. And then the message that I channeled was like, Christina, it wouldn't sting unless there was a part of you that feared that they might be right. Because it's like if someone was like,
Right.
you're a green dinosaur, like I'd be like, you're high. Like that's a weird thing to say. But if someone was to be like, you're a bad mom, I think it stung at the time. I know that it stung at the time because I was like, am I? It's like
Yeah.
ask any mom that's 2 weeks in, they're gonna be questioning that because it's hard. You don't know what you're doing. There's no manual. Like it's a lot. And so I remember being like, oh, they're just pointing me to my next greatest thing to heal. Thank
Hmm.
you. Like user number 45714 with no photo.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like now I know what to heal. So I found that super liberating. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like if it stings, let me take a look at it. If it doesn't, that's something that they get to heal, and they get to heal across the board if they're writing something that stings anyways. But that very much so liberated me too. I love the perspective of creating art from it as well because it's so true. It's like when we can take something and flip it on its head and be like, that's a weird thing to do. People are like, that is weird, and I can laugh at it, you know?
Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
people that are finding themselves in it, they're probably like, oh wow, that's like a very maybe not even that exaggerated expression, but like I'm realizing how silly that actually is. You know what I
hmm
mean?
hmm
I love that.
Yeah, yeah, it's so silly. Someone that has no idea who you are,
Yeah.
it's probably hundreds of miles away,
Mm-hmm.
hunched over their phone, looking at TikTok,
Uh-huh.
scrolling, and then all of a sudden they, receive your essence for 5 seconds, and then they are going to tell you exactly what's up. They know everything. It's
Right.
ridiculous. It's so silly. And so, of course, we get to, move through any feelings that come up, and that's a great thing to do. It has nothing to do with them, it has to do with us. Like we get to, hearing a comment like that, I can see why it would bring on feelings, and it's great to cry and just like to release and be like, oh, this shit is hard.
Yeah.
That's yours to have. And then the art gets to be a way that you kind of put a period on that experience. You make it mean something, and it is very empowering.
Yes. I completely agree.
Mhm.
Mm. So you're clearly living your dharma. Like you are living in this like self-expressed like space where it's like your ideas are coming to life and it feels like it's coming from life force energy and your highest self. And what would you say has helped your business expand the most? You talked about self-expression, but is there anything else that comes to mind around what's really helped you expand knowing that you're living, your dharma?
This is, yeah, a very like practical thing,
I love
but
it.
filming everything. Like,
Mm.
like the expression is one piece, but actually investing and getting things filmed and creating as much content as possible, capturing all these moments. I think this is something for a lot of healers that is challenging to do
Yeah.
because they're not really grasping the importance of capturing in your magic and revealing that or showing that or investing in that. And as
Mhm.
soon as I started to do live events and film and record what I was saying in my teachings and invest in more recording stuff and making dope art and having fun with it, that's when my business really started to like, expand and grow
Mhm.
because people could feel me in my magic, the stuff that happens behind the scenes. Because it's one thing to like hold a phone to your face and just start talking. It's
Right.
another thing to forget that there is a phone or a camera. You're not responsible for that. You're just teaching, you're just doing your stuff, and it's getting captured and someone else is going to take care of it. That's
Yeah.
a really, really helpful thing for
Yeah.
people to start doing.
I
And
love
it's,
that.
yeah, yeah, make the most of those experiences so that the world can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see the art in real time. Actually
Mhm.
see, and you know what I love to your point is like you can actually be fully in the experience, immersed in it without having to be like, oh yeah, let me do this and this. It's like
Yeah.
you're in it, in your magic, and you're like, I don't even know if we'll use this. Who cares? Like I'm just here to serve. And
Yeah.
then those clips are undoubtedly the ones that land the most because you're just in it, in alignment, ready to serve and to
Mhm.
support the souls that are in that room.
Yeah, exactly. You're not focusing on that, and it's really nice. It's really
Yeah.
nice not to be focusing on that.
Yeah, like hand it off. Like you do what you do best. I'm gonna do what I do best. We'll just couple this together and make it support the whole experience,
Yeah.
which is great. Yeah. So you, I feel like there's so much that you know about feminine and masculine dynamics. How has that played a role in business for you when you're kind of looking at these two
Mhm.
sides? Do you find that, tell me about that and how it kind of has
Well,
supported in your business?
yeah, the first thing I'll say when you were reading my bio, I wrote
Mhm.
down on my piece of paper, update bio. I think you have
Nice.
I think you have an older bio, and I just need to
Nice.
double check because we have a new one. Yes, I taught feminine and masculine energetics for years, and I'm over the last like I'd say 2 years, I've started to slowly fade out, and it's, still always going to be a part of what I've taught, and I have a
Hmm.
whole book on it.
Yeah.
But the more and more that I am with energy and with expression itself, the more I realize that like it's so heady. Like, yes,
Mm.
you can embody a feminine energetic with the body, and you can embody the masculine energetic, just like you can embody any shape. You can embody
Yeah.
any energetic.
Yes.
Think that we can get really, 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 really caught up, especially as women, with like, I want to be in my masculine and like all the
Right.
stuff and keep a separate, or like, how do I work with my masculine? How do you work with your energy?
Mm.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
How do you work with your energy? And so that's been something I'm kind of trying to formulate and correct in my own relation to it
Mm.
because they're together. There is
Mhm.
no only feminine or only masculine. Like they're always together. I'm in this call with you and my hands are moving, which is quite feminine. My spine is straight, which is quite masculine. I am speaking right now. Feminine, you are listening. Masculine, you're in
Mhm.
consciousness. So it's
Mhm.
just constantly together, always
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
And relaxing around that for the people who are starting to get a little tightly wound, I think is really supportive. And instead, just focus on like where is the energy flowing in your business? Are you
Mm.
doing a lot of things that you can outsource because they're actually draining your life force? They're not really quite supportive. Great, outsource. Are there
Yes.
places that light you up because you love talking about them and you're so excited about this program? Great, follow that.
Mhm.
Because if you find things in your business that really light you up, it doesn't matter if you have to pull out a spreadsheet and organize some things, quote, be in your masculine, because you have the energy of excitement that's fueling it.
So
We
true.
only get super caught up in the whole masculine thing when, one, we're not outsourcing things we really should be outsourcing to save more time, or two, we're focusing on the wrong thing. And so, of
Mm.
course, you're feeling frustrated about having to do something because the thing you're doing is not your magic.
Mm. So true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad we had an old bio because I have not heard someone talk about masculine and feminine energy in this way. I mean, it resonates as so true in my body. It's like it's all energy. Why are we trying to label it this, that, or
Yeah.
the other? Like it just is. It is
Yeah.
what it is, and it changes in an instant, and it just that's such an interesting perspective. I love trying that on.
Yeah. Yeah. And we get to evolve. If you listen to podcasts of me 5 years ago talking about this, it'd be like, okay, well, the feminine is this. And then,
So true.
and evolution is really important. And this is where I am now. And it feels like, wow, yeah. I mean, those things are all true. You can still like learn those things. You can still learn about, feminine and learn about masculine. And then I think at some point, you want it to merge. You want it to evolve into a place where you're not so, tracking the duality all the time and split and separate. The goal is to bring it together.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Oh my gosh. Is there anything that you feel like we haven't covered that you're getting an intuitive ping that feels maybe important to bring into the space? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Mm,
You're like, no, I'm complete.
I have no idea. I'm
Yeah.
another book and there's anything else, but if it feels complete, the energy feels complete, then that's
Yeah.
great. I'm
Yeah. Okay. I always like to open it up just in case there's like something coming through that's like, please, like unearth me. So I love this. I loved this conversation. Madeline, you are just such a joy to be around. You're such an expander. Like, I just love your energy because I feel like it's bringing out just the freest expression within myself and with other people. Undoubtedly, like, I witness you and your magic and everything that you share. And so, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your beautiful magic and your wisdom. Like, I'm positive that everyone here is going to want to connect with you. So, where are you hanging out? Where can people find you?
Thank you. Yeah. My website is maddiemoon.com, Maddie with a Y. And my Instagram is Madelyn Moon.
Mhm.
And like I said, I have an Unbound coming up in September 19th to 21st in Austin.
Mhm.
And so many things in the works that are coming up, including my facilitator training. So if anyone's interested in any of these things, just follow me on Instagram because that's where I'm most active, or you can go to my website.
I love it. Perfect. And we'll make it really easy for everyone that's tuning in. We'll drop it in the show notes so you guys can just look down below and click the links and connect with her there. So, again, thank you so much for being here. This was
Mm.
so much fun. And I learned so much being in your energy and just being in your embodied wisdom. Like, just thank you for showing up in the space and just being authentically you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for your questions and your engagement. It was, yeah, really wonderful to bring this work to your audience. So thank you.
You're welcome. And for everyone that's tuning in, thank you so much for giving us your most precious resource, your time. We're eternally grateful for you. And until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to You Unlimited, a catalyst to creating the life of your dreams. If you love today's episode, give us that 5-star review so we can keep creating content with power and